Marvel and Mahershala Ali. I would like to have a word with everyone involved.
You are now tuned in to a PNerdy Films Productions. Perfect films made by perfect nerds. We thank you for watching. Enjoy. And you are now tuned in to the Prince Onyx Network with your good guy here, Prince Onyx.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your good guy here, Prince Onyx, Onyx. So let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So, allegedly and apparently, the Blade film has been canceled quietly by Marvel/Disney. And here's the thing I'm going to say, because some people feel like they were afraid to see a Marvel Disney Blade movie because they felt like they would have saw a Disney-fied version of Blade. I'm going to say that that wasn't the case. I'm just going to get that out of the way. The reason why I say that is because them taking on Deadpool when they've had, bought and absorbed all of the properties from Fox, meaning X-Men, Fantastic Four, Deadpool, Cable, X-Force, all of that, right? When they absorbed all of that, they were willing to take that risk with making Deadpool and Wolverine an R-rated film. They were willing to take that risk. Even, Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange was essentially an R-rated film. Even though they didn't give it an official R rating, you know what I'm saying, for mature audiences, it was definitely on that level. And if they would have went with the original script, it definitely would have got that official R rating. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, hey, if your child is not 17 and above, they cannot see this. Okay, you got to wait until it comes on to streaming. But anywho, I feel like they would not have tried to Disneyify Blade, because you got to remember, Blade back in the 90s literally got Marvel out of bankruptcy. They were literally about to be obsolete, essentially, go into obscurity. And the Blade movie with Wesley Snipes literally helped to absolve all of that. So I don't feel like that's what it was. If anything, I feel like there definitely was a lot of creative differences. But even within those creative differences, this is where I'm just like, okay, Mahershala Ali, I don't know if you can speak on it. I hope that you can, because at one point they had so many people attached to this movie, from Mia Goth, who is still attached to Marvel to play the character Lilith that was supposed to be in the Blade movie. So clearly her character will appear elsewhere. And Mia Goth is a pretty good actress too, okay? If you've seen the Pearl movie, Maxine, if you've seen that trilogy that she's done over at, what was it, A24, baby, Marvel knew what they were doing when they casted her, okay? So, she was attached to be Lilith in the Blade movie, but she is still attached to Marvel, even though they have allegedly and apparently quietly canceled the Blade movie, okay? Clock it. So she's still attached. But I feel like the demands and the creative differences really came to a head, because it almost feels like, okay, nothing was ever necessarily good enough. Because it's just okay, here's where I'm saying Mahershala Ali, I would like to have a conversation as well. Because I'm just okay, dude, what exactly did you want with this movie? Because I know when I had spoke on the Dead Bird app, aka Twitter, aka X, people were like, oh no, all the little, peanut gallery bullshit, right? So my thing is, people necessarily were they were like, oh, well, he doesn't want this to be just another black superhero movie, which I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to be that, because this is Blade. This is Blade that we're talking about, okay? Can we just own up to that, baby? This is Blade. It wasn't just going to be another black superhero movie, especially because it was announced in 2019. So this was hot off the trails of Black Panther. So that's why I'm like, this wasn't necessarily going to be another black superhero movie. This wasn't that. But I do feel like, I don't know what his demands may have been, but it's just bruh, what exactly were you guys trying to go with? Because if you guys were trying to go with the story of introducing Blade's daughter, that would have actually worked. Because allegedly and apparently, Ryan Reynolds, aka Deadpool, he has been trying to he basically has, not even trying to, he has pitched an Old Man Logan story for Blade, which was played by Wesley Snipes, to Marvel. And it seems like Marvel is like, okay, we can do that. As long as it introduces his daughter, that way the Blade title and the character can carry on. Cool. But then you have to think about it, right? Because they're trying to wrap up the whole multiverse saga, which I understand. And you have somebody, an industry insider or a Marvel insider, saying that, oh, Blade didn't fit the model or the story or where we were trying to head. How the hell did Blade not fit when y'all literally put Blade, a voiceover, in the end credit scene of Eternals with Kit Harington, who is the Black Knight? And Black Knight was supposed to be working alongside with Blade in the Blade movie. So how did it not fit into the story? Now, if y'all have him pop up in the Midnight Suns, maybe it could be a Disney Plus series or a movie. Okay, great. But y'all do know that the audience is going to need maybe like 30 to 45, let's just say 50 minutes of really trying to like wrap up Blade's story real quick, real fast, and in a hurry. I'm just saying, real quick, real fast, and in a hurry, you guys are going to have to like put that in there. Okay, this is how Blade came to be. It's still going to it's still going to be dependent upon the multiverse story. It's still going to be dependent upon the multiverse story. And it's just like, bruh, like you have to realize that how are you going to explain that all of a sudden, oh shit, vampires exist in the MCU? Again, this movie was announced in 2019. 2019, baby. This movie was announced prematurely. And it's just been downhill ever since. This is a movie that has been in development hell for a while, Brian. We were damn near going to 10 years of this movie being in development hell. And Mahershala Ali is a great actor. Now, do I think he would have did a wonderful Blade? Absolutely. But also, I feel like, you know what? Hey, let's go with Ryan Reynolds' idea and let's introduce Blade's daughter and let's give Wesley Snipes' Blade an Old Man Logan send-off. That's just me. Now, if you guys want to still go the route of Mahershala Ali, okay, great. I will give you that. But it's just like, okay, what exactly, what direction are we going? Because even though I can't stand Bo DeMayo, and that's a whole nother conversation, he had pitched the idea that actually, because it involved the character of Lilith, that actually would have worked. Now, if y'all want to still use that idea for Midnight Suns, I will give y'all that. But it's like, okay, you still have to try to work this in to where it's like, okay, vampires exist in the MCU. In the grand scheme of it, in the MCU, I'm pretty sure I messed that up with the sign language. Please forgive me. But in the MCU of it all, you still got to explain how are vampires here all of a sudden. Because for somebody, an insider, to say, oh, Blade doesn't fit into our plans going forward. Well, girl, y'all literally is bringing everybody and their mama out for Doomsday and whatever the other Avengers movie, the next Avengers movie is going to be. Y'all bringing everybody out. So how does Blade not fit? I mean, y'all could fit him in there some way, somehow. And you know what? Shout out to Deadpool and Wolverine, because the fact that Wesley Snipes said what he said when he was about to like launch that rocket launcher and said that there's only ever going to be one Blade, clock it. Because real talk, again, Wesley Snipes' Blade literally got y'all out of debt and bankruptcy. So my thing is, they were not going to necessarily Disneyify Wesley Snipes. Well, Disneyify Blade. You see how I did that? Anyway, they weren't going to Disneyify it because, again, if you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, if you've seen Deadpool 2, if you've seen Deadpool 1, if you've seen Daredevil, Born Again, and because they have the Punisher in there, and even the Punisher on Netflix, they're not afraid to do R-rated material. They're not afraid to do R-rated material. They're not. It's just a matter of, okay, we still got to make sure that we recoup and make a ROI, return of investment, on this. So it's not a matter of that. The thing is, it just feels like, okay, damn, what exactly was going to be the story? What was going to be the story? Because real talk, y'all should have casted Wesley Snipes from the beginning to reprise his role. But shout out to Ryan Reynolds for having him reprise his role in Deadpool and Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're going to go with the multiverse situation, the multiverse saga, it makes sense. Now, again, should what he is pitching to Kevin Feige go through and they're going to do an old man Logan send-off, I'm with it. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm with it. Because that would help. Because then it still keeps the Blade legacy going if you're going to transfer him out and then transfer his daughter in. You feel what I'm saying? If you're going to do that, that actually works. So I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, again, it's been so many. Ooh, god damn, not the helicopter in the background. Okay, damn, I guess the X-Men must be after me. Anyway. Anyway, if you're going to go with, you know, the Ryan Reynolds story of pitching, okay, hold on, y'all, because Jesus Christ. Okay, it passed over because I'm like, okay, it was so loud, and I'm pretty sure y'all caught that. But anyway, if you're going to go with the Ryan Reynolds story of it all, okay, cool. Let's do that, right? But I still feel like, yo, if you're still gonna keep Mahershala Ali attached to it, cool. But it's just like, bruh, this was announced in 2019. Y'all could have came up with this some way, somehow. Because how is it that you had him do a voiceover cameo in the end credit scenes of the Eternals with Kit Harington, who plays the Black Knight? And again, the Black Knight was going to work alongside Blade, which would have been dope to see. But now it's just like, okay, what's really going on? I feel like at some point, comic book movies, some of the writers need to actually be comic book fans. Even if you've just seen the comic book movies, I still feel like you still have a say-so. Because it's like, okay, here's how we can make this make sense. Because the Fantastic Four movie that's coming out is literally them in an alternate universe coming into the 616. The Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange literally had them go to the universe of 838, where that Wanda Maximoff literally slaughtered damn near everybody in the Illuminati, which I know that universe's 838 universe, Wanda Maximoff, yeah, they're probably going to like rip her to shreds, because the 616 Wanda Maximoff literally body swapped and body invaded her. So there's that. So she literally put one of her variants at heavy risk, because girl, what the hell? But anyway, with Blade, what I will say is I feel like it's, oh damn, okay, not the car horn. Okay, I got some confirmation from Spirit. What I feel is that Blade will still have a role in the MCU. It's just, if you're going to introduce him in the MCU via the Midnight Suns, be it a special feature, special presentation, or a TV series, well, you know, web series, TV series, you know, Disney Plus series, or a movie, you gotta at least carve out 30 to 45 minutes. So the movie might have to be 2 hours, maybe even close to 3 hours, but at least carve out enough time to explain to the audience that does not read comic books, that didn't see the Blade movies of the 90s going into the early 2000s, explain to them who Blade is, because Blade deserves so much respect. When it comes to horror noir, and that is Noir or Noire, Black people in horror and Black horror films, not many people are studying that. So for the people who may not study it and know it, because again, I'm somebody who is studying this as a horror filmmaker, when it comes to that, please explain to the audience who this character is. That way it makes sense. Okay, he's a part of the Midnight Suns. Because according to, you know, word on the curb is that Isaac Knight, Isaac who plays Moon Knight, he's not in this, these Avenger films, which I'm just like, okay, how is he not going to be in the Avenger films? That would actually be a great time to introduce him. But if you guys are holding him off, okay, cool. But you do realize that whatever you guys are holding him off for, it will have to mentally acknowledge what the hell happened in the world. Because with the multiverse saga, if you're going to have the Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom come into the 616, that affects everybody. So even if they don't appear in the film, that's going to still affect everybody. So we shall see, you know what I'm saying? Again, I still feel like if you're going to do it with Mahershala Ali, please explain who he is as Blade in a Midnight Suns production, in a Midnight Suns project. Please explain that. And also, if you're going to go the route of an Old Man Logan send-off for the Wesley Snipes Blade that Ryan Reynolds has been pitching and fighting for and advocating for, you still got to be ready for that as well. So, has it been quietly canceled? According to the word on the curb, it has, but there's still hope. So I'm just like, okay, girl, y'all gonna have to really explain this quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay? But anyway, that is all I got. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and let me know, because I love when y'all talk back, because that way we can have an actual conversation. But it is your good guy here, Prince Onyx, and I am signing off. Onyx. All right? I'm signing off. I love y'all deep, and I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.
And thank you for tuning in with me, your good guy here, Prince Onyx. I look forward to seeing you all again real soon. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This has been brought to you by PNerdy Films Productions. Perfect films made by perfect nerds. Thank you for tuning in with us.